Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and it's actually a pretty nice day outside. It's a little warmer, a little sunnier. Unfortunately, with all the rain we had the last 2 days, it is still way too wet to go out and grade and work on the barn pad. So, we're gonna be back here working on my portable metal workbench table build thing, whatever you want to call it. So I got the top cleared off. Last video I left off, I had all the case parts stacked up on it on top of a wooden spool. I got that all cleaned up, moved out of here. So this is going to be my bench top, and as you can see, it's a little bit shorter than my frame. And I don't know if you guys can see it here, but it's got big holes in it from where conduits used to go through. This is actually the back of a main distribution tub for electrical system. So I'm going to turn it into a table. So what we need to do is figure out how long we can make this sheet, and then we're going to have to cut this frame down to match that. Alright, so to get our maximum length, that is about 68. So we're going to go about 67 and a half, it looks like. Check that end hole too. Yeah, 67 and a half will cut off all three of these holes that are in here. So that means I'm going to make my overall frame length 67 and a half. Alright, so from end to end, we are 89 3/4. Alright, so I did my math and it looks like I need to cut 22 1/4 inches out of this frame to shorten it up to make the length I need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that 22 out of the center, so I only have one weld, so I'll make 4 cuts, 2 on each rail. Take that section out, slide the thing together, make 1 weld around on each side. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then I'll still keep all my steel structure in the center symmetrical, I think. So I'm going to find center, which 89 3/4, so half of that is 44 7/8. Double check, measure this way. Yep, 44 7/8. Alright, so then I gotta go 22 1/4, so that's 11 1/8. And what I like to do, instead of trying to hold the tape measure on the end of the tape, because this part's a little loose, it can wiggle, I like to keep it on the 1 inch mark. And then whatever my measurement is, I just add an inch to it. And I feel like I can get a little more accurate that way. So I gotta go 11 1/8, so 12 1/8. 12 1/8. There we have it.
I thought cutting the center section out would be a lot easier than it was, especially with the bandsaw, because the bandsaw just cuts right through the tube steel. However, when you weld things, the steel gets really hot, expands, and then as it cools, it contracts. So when they put all these braces and stuff in this crate, the heating and cooling put a lot of tension on the steel. So as I was cutting, it was pinching, making it very difficult to cut all the way through one of the rails. I'm glad I bought a brand new fresh pack of saw blades. Otherwise this would have been really frustrating. I lost one brand new one with the first cut. It cracked when it bound, so I just broke it and pulled it out. The second one here that's looped around the rail is still good. I didn't want to break it trying to get it out, so I just grabbed the third blade to make my final cut, and then I'll get the other blade back off and store that away. Now that I got the middle section cut out, I can work on joining the two halves together. And what I'm doing is taking a piece of 1/4 inch flat stock that I got left over from building my rock bucket, and I'm going to use that with some clamps to hold the two pieces together nice and straight and pretty rigid.
Alright, let's check how we are for length. Yeah, 67.5 right on. 67.5 right on.
Before I weld, I'm going to go ahead and clean all the rust and the surface where my two joints are so I get a nice good weld. Since I don't know what thickness the steel is, I'm going to take my gauge, give it a quick measure so I can make sure I set my welder to the correct heat and wire speed. Then I can refer to the chart on the welder to figure out my wire speed and temperature. And in this instance, with 1/8 inch steel, it's going to be a heat of 4, wire speed of 45. And then I just got to clean a spot for my ground, and I'm ready to weld. I'm going to start by putting a tack in all 4 corners on both rails, hoping that as I weld the rails, those 4 tacks in the corners will keep everything from heating and expanding and warping, keeping everything nice and straight. Now that it's all tacked together, I should be able to remove my clamps without worrying about it coming apart. And then I can grab a level and lay that across my seam, making sure my rails are still nice and straight and I don't have a high spot or a low spot. With that all looking good, I'm going to make it one solid frame again. Let's get it welded. I'm not used to welding such thin steel. Normally I weld like 1/4 inch or thicker, especially when I was building my rock bucket. So I ran into a little bit of an issue of staying in one spot too long and burning through the tube. I was able to patch in my burn throughs with weld, so it all turned out okay, but it was a little bit difficult for me. I did also turn down the heat and wire speed a little bit too to try to help with that burning through. Now I can concentrate on getting these end rails the same height as the side rails. So right now they're slightly higher. So I'm going to cut these end rails out, cut the legs down to match the side rails, and weld the end rails back in.
Alright, so that's probably going to be it for this video. I was hoping to get further, but, you know, that's what happens. I always think I can get more done than I actually can. But we still make good progress. We got this ready for the top. I don't think we're going to do the top in the next step. I think what we'll do is we'll end up flipping this over. We'll get the wheels on, get the bracing done for the wheels, flip it back over, get the top cleaned up, put the top on. Then it'll be clean up all the rust, prime paint, and we'll have a rolling workbench. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. If you did, please like it. We really appreciate it. Consider subscribing. Obviously we got more to do on this. We have grading outside. We got the garage build to do. I don't know how soon we're going to get back on this table because I need to get the grading and garage built. This was supposed to be a winter project, but because of weather this weekend, I came in here and did this instead, which was fun. I enjoyed it. So, but anyway, consider subscribing so you don't miss all these projects, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.